Photography is becoming more popular than ever before, and with more people looking to get into the hobby, many people are wondering what cameras to buy. When I'm out on shoots or having conversations with people about photography, a lot of people always ask me, what camera should I get? Should I buy DSLR or should I buy mirrorless? What brand of camera should I buy? And each time I reply with the same answer. Just buy the best camera that you can. Now when I say buy the best camera you can, I'm not talking about spending thousands on the latest kit, the latest Sony or Canon body with all the bells and whistles and all the new lenses and the best quality lenses you can straight off the bat. Just get the best camera for the budget that you have and just start from there. So many people struggle to get into photography and feel like they can't get into the hobby because of the perceived high barrier of entry. They feel that to get started you need to get a full frame camera, but you need to invest in all the best prime lenses, or that you need to get the best L series 24-70 2.8 lens to be able to start shooting. They feel that because their favourite YouTuber has all the best kits, that they should have it too before they can start. You don't need any of that to start taking photos. All you need is the camera that you have, or the best one that will do for you. I think a lot of people who want to get into photography, those who are starting out, or even people still on their journey, see a lot of influencers and YouTubers talking about how you don't need to have the best kits and that the camera and the equipment doesn't take the photograph and it's all about you. And that's all well and good, but a lot of these people are shooting on the best equipment that money can buy. And in truth, you just don't need to spend that kind of money when you're first starting out. You can just get something which works for you and just learn the basics and just work from there. My first camera was a Nikon Coolpix L810. It shot mainly on auto. It had a fixed lens and you couldn't really easily change the ISO or the aperture or the shutter speed. Although it had limitations, I took photo after photo after photo just to learn the fundamentals and the basics. I took photographs of landscapes and portraits and of my pets, and even started doing my first street photography with it. It wasn't the best, but it's all I had available at the time, until I started to save up and be able to buy my next camera, which was the Nikon D3300. It was my first DSLR and I absolutely loved it, and I continued learning all of what I could about photography, learning about the different composition methods, learning how to use light and use the light available to you, and also lighting techniques. And I used those skills to eventually be able to study photography at sixth form. And at the time I wouldn't have been able to do that without having the Nikon camera that I saved up and was able to use to learn what I could. When studying photography at my sixth form, we had a bunch of Canon 650Ds and we had a range of lenses that we used for them. And these cameras allowed me to take some of the best photographs I've ever taken. This photograph of a busker was taken in 2017 on a London school trip that we did with the 650D, and it was shot on the kit lens, the 18-55. Now with this photo, it wasn't the camera that I used, or the lens, or even the shooting mode I was using that made the photograph what it is. It was the fact that I was walking past the British Museum, a place and a building full of expensive and priceless artefacts from all around the world, and in front of the British Museum, this building, was a busker, a man who was most likely homeless, playing an accordion. And there's something rather poetic in that I wanted to capture. So I spoke to him, I had a conversation with him, and I asked him if it was okay if I took his photo. And he was happy, and I took a range of photographs on the DSLR, on the 650D, but also a film camera that I had. And that photograph ended up being my favourite that I took of the whole trip. And it was shot on a 18-55 kit lens, which many people say don't use, get a new lens, bin it, throw it away, don't touch it. But I don't feel like I needed to. And I didn't want to. And I was able to use that lens. I was able to use those cameras, and I was able to take a photograph, which really showed the reality of life in London for many people. Even now, I don't have the best camera or a wide variety of lenses. I have a Canon mirrorless body that was pre-owned that I was able to save up for by doing a lot of odd jobs. And the two lenses I have are EF mounts, and I have to use an adapter to be able to use them on this camera, because I just can't afford to be able to buy the latest Canon RF mirrorless lenses, but these ones work perfectly. And with all that said, I currently don't need anything else. I don't need another camera. Currently, I don't need to get a new range of lenses. The ones I've got work perfectly for me for what I'm looking to shoot. It serves me purpose to allow me to get the job done and to be able to express myself creatively. And if you don't have money set aside to be able to invest in a second-hand DSLR camera, it's not an issue. Just use your phone. Phones nowadays can take some technically great photos, but just like a DSLR, a film camera, or a mirrorless camera. Without the photographer behind the lens telling the story, it's just a photo. It's the story that makes the photograph. Instead of investing in your kids, invest in your skills. Invest in your understanding of the exposure triangle and how ISO, shutter speed and aperture all work together. Invest in learning in different composition techniques to be able to tell your story within your frame. Invest in learning different lighting techniques to be able to tell the best story that you can with the photograph and with the light. Invest in being able to go to new locations to be able to shoot brand new subject matters. And invest in the history and the different people who express themselves with the art form. And with all of these, you'll be able to bring them together to be able to take better photographs regardless of what camera that you use. It's not the camera that makes the photo. It's the person holding the camera and the way that they choose to tell the story of the subject matter that they see in front of them. Focus on that, and the photos that you take will get better over time without spending thousands on new equipment.